Right, now this is what we call the IRIS machine, or Image Reproduction Integrating System. It translates your thoughts into pictures on this monitor here.
Monday afternoon, we are talking Doctor Who at the moment then, because it looks like there could be a vacancy behind the controls of the TARDIS. Yes, several of today's papers are reporting that Jodie Whittaker is going to leave the role after 3 years. The BBC is not commenting. However, I can tell you that 3 years is about the average length of time for a Time Lord in the job. We can talk to Jaspreet Singh. He's a Doctor Who superfan who's also made a radio programme all about the Whovian universe, and he's arriving right now. Ah, Jaspreet, I bet you dream of such a thing, to materialise in the TARDIS.
It's brilliant. Always been a dream.
Oh, there we are. Jodie Whittaker, then, has she been a good doctor? I mean, we don't know for sure she's going, but there's an awful lot of gossip about this. Someone suspects there's probably some fact behind it.
I think she's been a great doctor, personally. I think for not only being the first female doctor, which is brilliant news, I think there's something about her doctor which harks back to many of the... like David Tennant and Matt Smiths, and I think for a younger audience especially, because she's a very energetic and fast-paced doctor, I think she just fits the bill perfectly.
Yeah,
I like it.
She's funny. I mean, I will be. You know, I'm not. I've got not knowledge of your level, Jaspreet. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I enjoy watching Doctor Who, and I think she's been fantastic. And it's funny, isn't it? There was all that debate before she started. Oh, could there be a female Doctor? Would it work? And then, of course, she comes along, does it brilliantly. You go, well, of course there could be a female. Why could there not have been a female Doctor? She's fantastic.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I never understood the whole getting. Annoyed at the whole gender thing. I mean, end of the day, it's a science fiction show, and you know, if it wasn't for the whole regeneration, as they call it, the whole legacy behind that, the show wouldn't even be on TV.
Yeah, the show would have finished 50, 60 years ago, whatever it is. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
What's the magic of it for you?
I think it's the idea of. I think Stephen Moffat put it really, really well. When he described the Doctor, he described the Doctor as being not someone that has, a six-pack, or he's got, superpowers. He's got all this, cape and everything. Which, if you're John Pertwee, of course you're gonna have a cloak. I think it's the idea that his superpower, or her superpower, is their superpower in general is just the knowledge. It's just using your intelligence and helping out and just being a better person. And I think that's really appeals to me, because it's really nice to look at someone and be able to relate that kind of, having respect for the world and respect for one another, and just being a really good person. And I like that. I think that's great.
You're right. And the Doctor's a great role model, because despite the fact that he, or indeed she, are surrounded by all these horrendous, evil baddies, the Doctor never uses violence and always wins through kind of cleverness, through braininess, doesn't he, or she?
Definitely. I think it's just really nice to see that. It's nice to see a superpower which anyone can emulate. I mean, all it is about knowledge and being kind, and and it's what I think it's been such a success for the past 55 years. It's just brilliant.
And of course, the other thing that's really great from a producer's perspective is, well, you've got a character and a TARDIS that can travel anywhere in time and space. Where's your programme set? Wherever you'd like it to be set. You want to set it with the dinosaurs? That's fine. You want to set it in Victorian times? Great. What about at the end of the universe? You can do that. You can go wherever you want.
I think that is just a universal appeal for the show. I think just the idea of being able to go any 1 minute you're watching something that seems to be a Sherlock Holmes mystery, and the next minute it's like you're watching an episode of Space 1999, and it's just all of that. It just appeals. I think is why it's got such a huge fan base, not in the UK but internationally, and that's just brilliant.
So let's talk about the Whovian universe then, which is something that you've specialised in, I know. Let's start with the baddies. Who are the best Doctor Who baddies?
That's such a good question because it's such a good, difficult answer. Obviously, you're going to have the Daleks. I think exterminate. That was great timing. I think having the Daleks is just brilliant because just look at them. Who would imagine that a pepper pot on wheels would be able to destroy the whole universe, and yet here they are, all those years later, still, scaring and bringing this just funny to look at in general as well. It's just I think it's just pure British about that. It's just brilliant. What
about the scare? Because I've got an answer to this. What about the scariest baddie?
Oh, I think then you definitely have to give that one to the Weeping Angels or the Cybermen or.
It's funny you say that, Jaspreet, because Matthew, who's reading our news this afternoon, as soon as I asked that question, buzzed in my ear. What did you say, Matthew?
Weeping Angels. It's got to be.
And I agree. They
Definitely.
are. The Weeping Angels are terrifying.
Something about not being able to not look at them.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, for those who don't know Doctor Who, Jaspreet, just explain what the Weeping Angels are.
It's just your standard angel that you see anywhere. It can be just any statue whatsoever. And as soon as you look away for it, just for a brief second, and you look back, it's either in your face or you'll be displaced in time. So,
I mean, this is the stuff of children's nightmares, isn't it?
The consequences of not looking at them are quite severe.
Yeah.
I would say.
Definitely.
If teachers had that power, eyes on me.
Or parents.
Otherwise, I'll displace you somewhere else in time. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that one. Best Doctor, Jaspreet.
For me personally, hands down, John Pertwee.
Oh, interesting.
John Pertwee. I grew up with, just like any other person I grew up in the 12, 13 years ago, back in 2005. I got introduced to the new series like anyone else from who was born in the 90s or so. And it just, when I first encountered one episode of John Pertwee, it was on BBC Two back in 2006. It's just something about him. And I think his stories as well, which actually, I was going to make a point about Doctor Who. They always say that new Doctor Who is all political based and it's all, it's woke this. And, you hear all these phrases being thrown at Doctor Who. But it was John Pertwee's era whose was entirely based with him being on Earth during the 70s, and many of these episodes dealt with political issues. I mean, there was one on which was commenting on the South African apartheid in the 70s, and they had a story which was social commentary just about that. And there was one, most famously one, which dealt with a project called Molehole, I think, I could be wrong, which was to dig through the Earth's crust to gain power, or gain a new form of energy, which happened in the 60s, I could be wrong. And they did a whole episode about that for John Pertwee, and it just mirrors the way Doctor Who mirrors things, which is brilliant.
And suppose the big question then is, who should be, if Jodie Whittaker is going, who would you like to see take on that role?
That's a good question, and I think personally, and my top choice for the new Doctor will be Sanjeev Bhaskar, and purely because he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
he's got the charm, gravitas, and most of all, he's funny. But I would also love to see Shirley Henderson play the Doctor, because I think she has that eccentricity about her, which when you see her in Harry Potter or recently in Wurzel Gummidge.
Yeah.
She plays Saucy Nancy, and there's just something about her which, when you look at her, you say, oh, she'd be a really good Doctor. So I'd love to see them two maybe auditioned.
and you to be on the panel. So there we go, you get to choose.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Sanjeev, it's brilliant. Thank you so much. I know you've got to get out of here because you've got other planets to save and worlds to get to, so we'll let you climb back in and just deal with the faulty flux capacitor you had earlier on. Sanjeev, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Sanjeev. No,
I know,
Sanjeev Bhaskar. That's not
you
you.
thought I regenerated.
I thought you regenerated all of a sudden. Oh, thank you so much. Jaspreet,
No
good to
worries.
speak
Thank
to
you
you.
for
Take care.
having
Jaspreet Singh, Doctor Who superfan, who's also made a radio programme about the Whovian universe, and he fancies the idea of Sanjeev Bhaskar as the new Doctor Who. How about you?